Welcome back, soldiers and Avalanche recruits. Today we're diving deep in Chapter 3 of Final Fantasy VII Remake,
There's Tifa.
also known as Home Sweet Slum. While this chapter may seem like a simple introduction to Sector 7, there's actually a ton of hidden symbolism, character development, and even foreshadowing for later in the game. So strap in, because we're about to break down everything you missed in this 37 minutes deep dive. Guys, I want to thank you so much once again for all the support and all the love in the last two videos. This is a brand new thing for us in a brand new channel, and we are very happy to see the growth on it. Thank you so much, and don't forget, if you saw the last two videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. It will always help us to have more views and also a more impact way to show you Final Fantasy VII Remake in all the lore. So, my name is Simulverstan, this is one of my channels and I appreciate you here. Now, why does this chapter matter so much? It is the first time Claude really interacts with the people of Midgar outside of combat, and it shows how he slowly starts to farm bound despite acting cold. But what if I told you this chapter is also hiding some major clues about fate, time loops, and alternate realities? Let's jump in. So, one of the first things we notice in chapter 3 is just how alive Sector 7 feels. NPCs talk about their struggles, the layout of the slums feel organic, and it's clear that while life is tough, people are surviving together as one. As that district, that sector, it's alive and it's full of happiness despite being a slum. Of course, this starkly contrasts with Shinra's upper plates, showing the extreme class divide. This, no doubt about it, a sad part of things in this part of the game, because you see the slums being happily together, but you see Sector 7 up above, and all the above plates being so cold, so deprived of stuff. But did you catch the environmental storytelling hidden in this chapter?
It's good. I'm sorry,
the worn down shacks, stray cats and dim lighting, all symbolizing now Shinra has abandoned these people, forcing them to live in scraps while the elite enjoy their luxury. It's a direct critique of corporate exploitation, an even stronger message in the remake. Things we don't see much, especially on the OG one. One interesting detail is the train station near the slums. It still operates, but the NPCs complain about how unreliable it is. This subtly foreshadows Shinra cutting off train access later, further trapping the slums and controlling the people. And of course, we do talk about the reunion, and we see Sephiroth once again so early in this stage, but it's not really Sephiroth. It's Marco, one of those that Shinra experiment and just left and abandoned in the slums. A number 49. And of course, Tifa and the rest take care of Marco. That is the amazing tide on the amazing role that 7 sector means in this game. Well, we can see that people in this amazing sector take care of each other, despite being in the slum and despite being, all together and forsaken by the powers that told them they would protect them, they would make their life better. Of course that we see this in the world, this is normal, but we see a Sector 7 bright and full of life,
Marl is such an amazing.
something that we couldn't see on most of the OG game. Tifa in this amazing chapter is very, very important, you know. The world building in its meaning
Oh,
is
that's not kind of.
big and important. Of course, there wouldn't be nothing better than to see Claude, you know, having
It's an awesome.
get together with
Especially
Tifa,
in hard mode. Hard
spending
mode
some
can be
time with
tricky.
Tifa in the
But I
amazing
think it's just.
Final Fantasy VII OG. This amazing chapter gives us the opportunity to know the slums, to get to know
Once you
Tifa
understand things
and
that you gotta
all
do,
the amazing inhabitants of this sector. But what is Tifa's role in all of this? You know, it's been supposedly 5 years, right? Well, we got some
details, the
emotional
game, you know,
roller coaster,
Hey, Tom,
and
what's
of
going
course, you bring something. Tifa looks definitely amazing in this game, as well all the characters does. But there is a bigger, you know, a bigger emphasis on expressions that we can see, right? So now we understand most of the times how Tifa feels, and this is very important within the game, because Tifa is the link of Cloud to Midgar, to the story, you know. And as usual,
Yeah,
Cloud looks that
that's also true.
very far away from Tifa, although he is a childhood friend. Tifa's emotional role in inner conflict is going to be a big thing on this. So Tifa is the emotional anchor of this chapter, and we see her conflict play out through dialogue and body language. See, this is very important. This is something that we didn't add, sadly. One of the main things, if you pay attention in this chapter, is the way she moves, the way she feels, the things that she says. You know, Tifa usually, you know, sees Cloud distant and, you know, different. Of course, it's been a lot of time since they were together, but it's kind of tough for her, you know. And this chapter also introduces a lovely character, that's Marl. Marl is so good and so fun that we definitely love to see her here. She wants Cloud to feel at home, you know, and it's normal, that's what friends are for. But at the same time, she worries about his mercenary mindset. You know, she only wants to feel close to Cloud and actually make him more human, because Cloud by this time seems like a robot, and it's kind of in the OG one we see that he's cool, he's cold, but not like a robot. And Cloud in this chapter develops, or kind of develops, some personality, you know. So pay attention, you know, to how she keeps trying to get him involved in the local problems, you know. Start with Marl, then we can see Cloud and Tifa fighting alongside, you know, getting together to resolve the issues of the people around the sector, you know, and like helping the residents, or even joining Avalanche more actively. She really wants him to be close to her, to not leave her side. Can it be a kind of protection? I don't think it's protection. I think she instantly is trying to bring a different Cloud inside of things. You know, for example, her apartment scene. Now, you'll see that it's particularly interesting. While Cloud is distant, Tifa hesitates when asking about his past. It's almost as if she already knows something is wrong, but doesn't want to confront it. And we saw that during this chapter, you know, and most of you that play the game already and know the game, well, more or less know the game, you know that this is
It was the last
Won't
one.
stay gone for long.
not a normal cloud. This is not the cloud that Tifa knew. This is, you know, Cloud being Zack.
A win's a win, baby.
And that's the issue right now. And Tifa knows that. Tifa can actually see that, you know. Tifa could end that. She has doubts about Cloud's memory, even this early in the game. We're talking about the 3rd chapter of the game, and the first real interaction that we see Tifa with Cloud, and she's already, you know, doubting all of
Our power
memories.
doesn't go for the other two.
And
It's very sad.
we both
I
know
understand why.
that
I do understand the why.
Cloud
It would be
remembers
very, very-
things way more
I
differently
doesn't look like a
than Tifa. But here we see that Cloud is actually trying to get involved and helping everyone around. Well, of course Tifa pushes him over to do it, but it's very good and very fun to see how she does that. She really wants it, you know, she wants to keep Cloud by her side. You know, found your calling. She knows he's a mercenary,
That's right, I guess.
you know, and she gives a heck of a pep talk, which is really good. It's really funny to see the interaction, you know.
Not a patient teacher.
He is like a clean sheet
Oh boy.
for her to, you know, mold right now, because his memories are all messed up. That's basically our opinion on this. So
So we got
Cloud
the-
starts this chapter as a lone wolf, but small moments like this one instead is already changing. Now there's a change in his heart. There is a change in his mindset probably, and a change on the way that he wants to do things. Don't get me wrong, he's still cold and still is a merc, but
story part.
in all fairness,
You
he
can't go
is
directly
trying.
into-
The simple act, okay, of taking odd jobs seems like filler content at first, you know, like pursuing cats,
That means in factory.
kill this monster here or that monster there, small things.
If you want to,
Those
you know,
those acts of Cloud, even with, you know, Johnny and stuff and saving
then we get to
Johnny,
the second one. See,
it's
that's why this is important.
very, very deep. No, actually serves a greater purpose. It forces Cloud to interact with the people, to see them as more than just background noise, you know. Not even for him, but for us as players as well. You know, notice how the NPCs slowly warm up to him. You know, every time that he completes a mission or helps someone, we see the NPCs helping him and saying, "Oh, that's a big sword." They came from a big sword for, "Oh, this is the guy that can do this and that. This is the merc that help us. This is the merc that are helping the community." You know, at first we know and we see they're skeptical, sorry, but as he helps them, we see hints of a softer Cloud beneath the soldier persona, because it's all that it is right now. For us, we know how Cloud is strong and fast and, you know, not bad for a soldier that is not a soldier in the real act, because we all know that, of course, we saw that on the OG. But that's soldier persona.
Secondary stuff.
It is not right. It's not Cloud. And one of the biggest things that we see day by day on Sector 8 in this chapter is exactly that. Is the building up, you know, the building up. The most important scene is when Cloud agrees to help Tifa with the watch patrol.
A dark dog.
And of course, we see Johnny as well. Johnny, for me, I think it's one of the biggest parts as well. And he agrees to help Tifa with the watch patrol. It's the first time he does something without
that was
expecting what? A reward.
Beauty.
Just like here in Johnny, you know. showing that he's not just a mercenary,
That last one,
he's a
Tifa,
protector
was
at
a
heart.
beauty.
And that's what it is, you know, he is a protector at heart, you know. A bit cool now, and a bit crazy, you know, because we see this part with Johnny, and we'll get there.
No reflection, dude.
We'll get there as well. It's whoa.
It brings no
It's really
reflections, clouds,
heartbreaking for Tifa, you know, because she was not expecting that. She was expecting more loving Claude, a guy that at heart protects everyone, and that's what Cloud is. Cloud does protect every single one of them.
It's a soldier.
He did it with Tifa back when he was a small kid, and he promised to protect her again when he left the village,
let's go,
and he
yes.
came back as a Shinra soldier to protect her once again, and he did it. Of course, a lot of things have changed there, and
Worried about us.
you know,
We gotta go, right?
like she said, I'm worried about you, because she knows that a lot of things, you know, are wrong,
That's what happens.
and that's one
yes.
of the details that we can see. Oh, foreshadowing fate and destiny. This
It's the
let's
motto,
talk about the
you can
biggest
say,
hidden
everything.
theme in this chapter:
Always say it's a
fate. Now, throughout chapter 3,
Motto.
Claude has brief flashes of his past, like when Tifa mentions Nibelheim. But did you notice the music suddenly shifts in certain moments? It's almost as if the game is trying to remind us that something is off about Cloud memories, that something is not right, that something is
Coming through.
different, change. And of course, once again, it's very subtle things, because this chapter here seems like a filler, you know, seems like just out fighting and to give more longevity to the chapter and to the game, but it's not. There's more to it. It's Cloud becoming Cloud himself again, and that's one of the biggest theories that we see in the people around the game and that loves the game and debunking the game once again. People are saying that Cloud actually is starting to become, well, human again. The Cloud that Tifa knew, the Cloud that Tifa loved, the Cloud that Tifa relied and didn't know that he protect her even in the Nibelheim incident. Oh, it's very, 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 very important, this one, you know. This reminds us, all the songs and the different memories reminds us that something is definitely off about Cloud's memories. This direct ties into the idea that Cloud isn't just a mercenary with a past, is a pawn in something much, much, much bigger. We already know the Whispers are manipulating the fate, but what if I told you that some of Cloud's decisions in this chapter are already being influenced? Do you think? What do you think? Do you think that Cloud is doing things just out of his sheer will? Or there's something about either Genova cells or even his memories or even the Whispers doing something to influence most of the character and the mind of Cloud right now? Do you think there's something way more bigger than just the Tifa working herself out to drawn out Cloud from that it's not a spell, but from that mercenary-like mentality, and just bring old Cloud from the past? I don't know, it's very, very, very interesting how the devs did this on this game. It's you know, it's hidden. not at first glance. The music, the way that it connects with Tifa, the way that it connects with the other inhabitants of Sector 7, it's really, really something that we shouldn't miss. And of course, all of these ties up in the end when we start to debunk all of this chapter. You will see that are a lot of hidden details and Easter eggs and things that you can actually drawn out from this chapter.
This was the last secondary mission, so.
Even small things like choosing whether to help a certain NPC could hint that Cloud's path isn't entirely his own. There's a choice here. We didn't have choices on Final Fantasy VII OG, so there's a choice not to do the parallel missions, you know, the secondary missions, which in most of the games that we see in Final Fantasy, especially VII, there's no such thing, you know. Remake brings us to a point that maybe, you know, maybe you don't need to help everyone, but that has a cost. And we know that by the chapter, if I'm not mistaken, 10, maybe I'm mistaken, but there's a chapter where one of three things can happen, you know. Either you have a talk with Barrett, Tifa, or Aerith, which will further on these debunks. We'll get there, no doubt about it. So, these small things, choosing to help or not, hint that Cloud path isn't entirely his own. How about, you know, some secrets, you know, a few details that we could have missed on Chapter 3, which most of you, or most of the people that love Final Fantasy, can say that this is the boring part of the game, I guess. But Jessie, subtle foreshadowing, when she flirts with Cloud, she jokes about taking him for a ride on a magic carpet. This is really fun, actually. This could be a playful reference to her latest scene on the motorcycle, you know, in the next chapter. But some fans believe it hints at her possibly survival and an alternate future where she and Cloud reunite. Imagine that. Imagine that. And I don't want to talk about Rebirth here on this video, nor in the videos for Final Fantasy VII Remake or even Intermission. We will get there, hopefully. You know, I don't want to take well, if I upload every week, it will be a lot of weeks, but I want to give you well, a full rundown in the videos, so this takes a bit more. The Moogle medals, you know, these appear for the first time in Chapter 3, but did you notice that their design resembles the Whispers? Oh, I bet you didn't. I bet you didn't, because I didn't at first as well. I was scouting throughout the internet and other lovers of Final Fantasy VII, and someone told me, I can't remember the name for the life of me, but someone told me about that, and I was like, no way. And then I went to see, and it's true. The Moogle medals resemble the Whispers. So can the Moogle shop have a deeper connection to fate? That's crazy. Nobody imagined that, you know. And of course, all the situation that we have and that we can see throughout the game, it does help us to realize a few things. Even the choices that we need to do to Tifa outfit and choosing the missions that we want to jump in, all of that is a sign that Cloud do not do not want to change the past, maybe?
I think it's time we head back to the bar.
Or is being, conflicted with these choices.
Honestly, I'm feeling pretty good.
It's beautiful to see, the sentiment with Cloud and Tifa in this chapter. Because Tifa is really trying hard to keep him,
Right
know,
now? Then the plan
keep
is-
him by her side and regain him as well. She is also afraid for him to
Honey's
leave,
such a
Looks like we're
beauty.
officially on for tomorrow night then. Gotta go over the
which
details
is,
with the others.
very normal in this case. So the other one that we saw is the TV in the apartment. When Cloud enters his apartment, you can hear a Shinra news report. It changes based on your progression, showing how the world reacts in real time to Avalanche actions. I think this is not a big thing, but I wanted to refer to it because it's a nice touch from the game. Of course, we see that in the other chapters ahead, but I always
Let's
think,
drink something,
What'll it be?
what other game does that?
something hard.
Because we don't see that in Final Fantasy VII OG. So once again, it goes to the theory of the last chapter, chapter 2, that Shinra is
Cosmo
actively
baby.
trying to show people that Avalanche is bad, in order to continue to their plan to intensify
Well,
the war,
people would say something
to intensify
sweet
extreme measures.
I'm sure they would.
So I can see that happen, in later installments on the game, and we will see that they will become more aggressive, even in this game. Oh, the beautiful Cosmo Canyon!
special.
Gotta love it.
Cosmo
So here's where things get a little bit crazy
It
here.
is.
What if Cloud choices in chapter 3 already determine which timeline we're in?
Enjoy.
So all of the choices that we saw Cloud making, the missions that we did or choose not to, imagine that
I don't
they
remember all the
already
game, but the game was pretty fun to
shows
see.
that we are in
The
another
reactor bombing was
time.
the work of the eco-extremist group Avalanche. Public
Can it
enemy
be?
number one. Gets your heart racing, doesn't it?
Do you
We don't
think
know our
that
faces,
is
so we're
actually
looking for now,
possible
but we'll wanna
that we
capitalize
are
on this
already
momentum. Speaking of which, you coming up
seeing the
next
new
one?
timeline unfold? Because it shows like that. It's definitely what we can see with the interactions
Tifa will be joining us
with
too.
Jesse,
I don't know.
with Biggs,
My man can see your heart's not in it.
Yeah, she's a bit off.
even with Wedge,
So if it comes
but
down to
especially
why,
especially
if I've
with
gotta put my
Tifa.
life in someone else's hands,
So
I'd rather that someone was
this probably
Like you.
shows us early on that we are in a different timeline,
Kill some time.
in a different thing. So we got what? The Whisper's influence. What if the ghosts aren't just correcting fate, but actively pushing Cloud toward a predetermined path? Which it seems to be in this case on the game.
Here.
It seems that happened already. It happened on the first chapters, which we can see that the second chapter is definitely the one that
This
That
is the back.
introduces
That's
to
about
the
it. Really small thing.
whispers, to the ghosts, if you want to call it.
I don't know
But
if it's
this time,
music-wise or if I
in
actually
this
have to play
chapter,
that. Can't remember.
They will
I
have
have to play that. Can't remember.
now a much
Play that.
bigger influence, maybe, even if they don't appear. Does it make sense to you guys? Jesse's fate. And this one is a stretch, but I do love this one as well. Her flirtatious nature and deep involvement could hint that she was meant to be a love
It's been
interest
a while. It's been a while.
in another timeline. but fate was altered. Imagine, because it's really kind of, you know, Jesse he hits hard on Cloud, right? Even harder than Tifa. Jesse is a loud mouth when it comes to being flirtatious with Cloud. It's a lot. It's too much sometimes, and even he thinks that is too much. So maybe on this one we already see something different. Of course,
I heard you're having second thoughts.
that we have, and this is a stretch, of course, but how about that?
That's true.
It can actually be what is happening. And maybe Cloud
Trapped.
has something with Jesse
Do it.
in other timeline. No, but I think this one is a stretch. Cloud's memories, the sort of flashes of Nibelheim suggest that Cloud's mind is already fractured. And I think that we already knew.
Wedge and
No, I think
Guess that's that then.
we knew already that Cloud's memories are not good and is not well on his mind.
Want another drink?
Tifa,
But
time to celebrate. Break out all the good stuff.
Oh, sure.
do the
Not
whispers
you, Mark.
trying to
I'm celebrating
prevent
with you,
him
Mark.
You for this.
and from remembering the
Feel free to
truth
look elsewhere.
too soon?
By me.
That's how I like it.
No contract, no obligation.
Once again, we don't have a lot of whispers on this chapter and a lot of,
The rest of your pay,
you know,
along with a little extra for you.
things showing that the whispers are actually involved directly on this. But
Very
it could definitely be
This is a
that.
private affair.
fine by
We
me.
can definitely see that the fractured mind, and there you go. See? Did you see the whisper right there?
Sorry.
Passing by,
Well,
influencing stuff.
it is what it is.
We didn't want to put so
It's
much on
really a fun way, in a subtle way,
What's the holdup?
that
No, Big's love
the story
Jesse.
writing
Cloud doesn't
was
care
made
about
to show
Jesse.
us that Claude
Jesse-
maybe
Let's
maybe
go.
already
Cloud,
Okay.
you know. I
Being-
can't wait to see
It's
it.
fine.
seeing the truth or remembering
Can't wait to see
the
more
truth
from,
too early
Sorry to keep
on
you thirsty
the-
boys waiting.
on the game, because in the Final Fantasy VII we didn't see that. It was way different. So yeah, I think
It's here there just to
this is one of the theories that I do enjoy the most in this chapter, is the fact that maybe,
Ain't no room for error. Come spill it.
just maybe, the whispers are already affecting Claude in a way that blocking his memories, blocking the things that he should remember, you know, because he knows there's fractures of that in his mind,
Like I give a shit.
and the whispers are definitely, or at least they seem to be preventing that in order to maintain them. And could it be the whispers, or maybe Genova cells as well? Probably Genova cells can be also on display here and taking, no doubt about it, a piece of his mind, or fracturing his mind to control him. You know, Genova can definitely be doing that in terms of Genova cells, because we are already seen Sephiroth, Marco touch him as well, or we had the encounter with Marco, which has Genova cells. So maybe either that or is Sephiroth.
easy.
We can have a lot of discussions here in this chapter 3, although it seems like a filler, doesn't it? So guys, let me ask you, what do you think? Did you find that Chapter 3 set up deeper themes than we realized. Do you think it's way bigger than, you know, it should be in terms of lore?
Such a
Is
nice
Cloud Fate's
So we can talk in private.
really his own? And most importantly, what other hidden details did you notice? Well, drop your thoughts in the comments. It would be my pleasure to review them and to talk about them. And I hope you like this video.
For not
And
being on a mission.
hit that like button, subscribe to our channel for more, and
spam.
we are doing more deep dive analysis,
Nailed it.
and we want to keep sharing our thoughts and the things that we discovered throughout the game with you guys. I appreciate you so very much. Hope you love the game as much as I do, love the lore, love the story, and of course,
I'll give you the details.
don't forget to check the Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 deep dive. They are a bit bigger sometimes. And of course, those two chapters are really more, or kind of more interesting than this one. But once again, guys, my name is Symbolism. Do not forget to like and subscribe the channel, comment your ideas, comment what you think about the video. If you are here, thank you so much for watching all the video in its complete version, and I do appreciate you a lot.
We'll be back before morning.
Thank you so much once again, and until next time, stay safe, and may the live stream guide you until more adventures on Final Fantasy VII Remake. Hope you like
You all set?
more of these videos, and I see you in the next one. Bye bye, my guys, and thank you so much for all the help and all the love that you share in this video and in our brand new channel. I see you in the next one.
Just another job.
Is it? Look at the play. This game. This game is so beautiful.
Huh?